Okay, so I thought I would show you the setup row just one other way. So this is knitting brioche flat rather than in the round. Normally one flat you have the same color at the beginning and the end of the row. Those are often considered selvage edges. So you just want to pay attention to your pattern that those two stitches might be handled differently. But other than that, it's pretty much all going to be the same. So this one is a 2-color cast on, it's a little easier than just having all one color on. You have a bit better sense of predictability of what you're going to do, because in brioche you only ever work the same color with the same color. So I'm going to start off, and my light color is going to be considered the knit stitch in this one. So I'm going to knit that first stitch. Since I would never work a red stitch with a blue, I'm going to go ahead and yarn forward, slip one yarn over, and I'm going to knit my next stitch. Right, and yarn forward, slip one yarn over, and knit my next stitch, and yarn forward, slip one yarn over, and knit my next stitch. Again, this is one of the only times you'll ever work an individual stitch is on these setup rows. So I've slipped that, my yarn is in the front, and I'm going to knit that next stitch, and I'm going to bring my yarn to the front, slip the next stitch, and knit, yarn to the front, slip that next stitch, and knit. And I shouldn't have changed quite so quickly. I might just zip back to my other way of doing it so we can get to the end of the row before the eternity runs out. All right, so slipping, yarn forward, slipping, and knitting. And when I get to those last 2 stitches, I'm doing just the same thing. You'll notice that I do have this little knot, my slip knot just hanging out. I usually leave that slip knot live for the first 4 rows, just to keep those stitches nice and stabilized so I don't have to worry about them. When you're knitting flat, you slide your stitches back to the other end, and you're going to work with your second color right now. So if you are running selvage stitches on those edges, you're never going to, typically, you will not knit your selvage stitch in the second color, so you're just going to slip it out of the way. And now I am immediately going to zip into my brioche purl as I work those 2 stitches together. Right, now I'm back to, I have an individual stitch all by itself. I'm not going to work that because the first row is the only time I would ever do that. And brioche purl, I'm going to slip one yarn over, brioche purl, slip one yarn over, brioche purl, etc., etc., all the way to the end until we get to that very last stitch. I'm going to go ahead and switch now and show you throwing. Yarn is forward, I'm going to slip one and come all the way around that stitch and purl. And remember to come all the way around that stitch before I purl. And getting to the end. And then coming all the way around, right, slipping that little guy. And working my very, very last one. Okay, so when I get to that last stitch, I just go ahead and slip that stitch and not worry about it. Alrighty, and you know what, I did make a mistake right here in the middle, but I'm actually going to show you exactly how to fix that, because you never should see 3 stitches all by themselves. I find on the purl side in particular, I will often work a purl stitch because it's a muscle memory thing for me. And so I'm just going to slide these guys down. You don't even have to undo them, right? Slide right down, take that guy out, and that one should just be a wrap and sit right up there. Okay, and that actually segues us into our next thing, because we're about to do a video on how to fix common mistakes in brioche. But that's what you're looking at. So now after the first 2 rows of your setup row, you're doing exactly the same thing, right? You've got your individual stitches, your wrap stitches, individual, wrapped, etc. And at this point, you would go ahead and turn your work and work in your light color and work across. But I have a different video on the full brioche, how to do it. This was just on the setup row. So have fun, you guys. Thanks.